Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be reviewing Rumours by Fleetwood Mac. So I've been listening to this album for a while now and putting together my thoughts on it on my phone. I've started accumulating all of my album reviews in like a folder on my phone, and yeah, I'm really enjoying like reviewing music. I find it a lot more fun than reacting to it and listen to an album like again and again and again to think about how I feel about it, so that my final thoughts would be more interesting and well researched than just my reaction, me just sitting there doing this going this is good. So yes, so my original thoughts on this whole album as a whole was that it sounds floaty and ethereal but also rock inspired. So I didn't really have very like detailed thoughts on it. I just thought that it sounded cool, quite different to stuff I usually listen to, because I listen to a lot of modern music that's only been released in the last like 5 years. So yeah, not really like 70s stuff, so it was really nice to listen to some old stuff, and like the only old stuff I kind of listen to is like the Beatles or stuff that my parents listened to. So yeah, it was nice to listen to it on my own, like on the bus and stuff, and like get to know the album. So after listening to it a couple of times, I got some background on the album. I think it's a good place in the video to talk about it now. I haven't made videos like this in such a long time. I'm really awkward today at filming. I'm really not used to it. Oh my gosh, this feels so strange. Anyway, so the album was released in February 1977, which in my like lifetime was a long time ago, but also doesn't sound that long ago. I don't know. But yeah, it sounds like a fun time. I feel like I would have really liked the 70s because I'm quite like hippie, as you can probably tell by my room. And yeah, I just like that kind of stuff. So yes, it's their 11th studio album and it's supposedly more pop focused than their other albums. Now, making this video now, the only albums from them I've listened to is the one we're talking about today, Rumours, and Tango in the Night. So that's the only stuff I have to compare this to. So I didn't want to listen to all of their albums and then do all of the reviews. I wanted to kind of take one album at a time and kind of go through it at my own pace, because I didn't really know the response of these videos. Like, I don't know how many people are going to be interested in this kind of review of these albums. So my plan is to do Rumours and then to do Tango in the Night and then do Fleetwood Mac, like their self-titled one that's like one of the most popular ones, because I think they have got another one called Fleetwood Mac, but I think that is a live album. I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments if you know. So yes, anyway, let's go back to what we were talking about. So a lot of them were having relationship issues at the time. So they said it was a bit of a mess when they were recording, and they couldn't really organise themselves. But even though they had these troubles, it still became their biggest album of all time, selling 40 million copies worldwide, which is amazing. So happy for them, that is crazy. So yes, looking at the song credits, they use lots of different instruments in the album, which is interesting because like nowadays music, we don't have a lot of variety. We have a bit of piano, a bit of electric guitar, a bit of acoustic guitar and some drums. And maybe like an accordion thrown in if we're doing something a little bit different. But other than that, we don't really have like a ton of variety with instruments, or even with like singing styles. We have like a very, not auto-tunes. I don't like it when people keep talking about auto-tune. I feel like we have a very like polished song singing sound, and when people have different voices, like a different timbre to their voice, people are like, wow, a different voice type. And I'm like, well, we should have diversity with voices anyway. Like, I don't really understand, but maybe that's because the different voice types come from different genres. I'm not sure. As you guys know, I do kind of stay in my pop box. Like, I don't like to get out of my box that is just me listening to pop, my comfort zone. I don't like to go out of my comfort zone because I feel like I'm going to be judged and I'm scared. So even making this video, I'm kind of coming out of my comfort zone and I'm a bit iffy about it. But anyway, let's get back to it. As you can see, I've got my notes. So I looked at the website Genius, which I love so much. It tells you like the, I feel like I'm doing a sponsor, this is not sponsored. It tells you like the background of each song and the whole album itself. It tells you the song credits, who produced it, who wrote it, who sung on it, who played the different instruments. Then people comment about it. They put like the transcript of different interviews about it. So it's very useful and I use it for a lot of these videos. And it says that the story about the album cover, which I found really interesting because like I have loads of album covers here. I don't know if it shows up well on video, but a lot of the time you don't know like the background behind the album cover. You feel like they kind of just did a photo shoot and they were like, that's a good photo, why don't we use that for the album cover? So it was nice that this album cover, which I just thought was just a random thing, but actually there was a lot of thought that went into it and it's very interesting, the background. So it says that we have Mick Fleetwood standing there confidently next to Stevie Nicks, and he has toilet chains hanging off of his trousers, which he stole from a club that the band played at a few years earlier. So he uses these as a good luck charm, which is interesting. There's also a crystal ball, which I didn't realise unless I like zoomed in, because I saw they were like going like that, but I didn't really know what it was. But yeah, so that is a crystal ball, which is kind of an ode to their previous album, which is their self-titled Fleetwood Mac, which is their 10th album. So yeah, that's all I have about the background of the album. And now we're going to be talking about each song, my thoughts, the background. I'm not going to be going too deep into each song because usually I do that, and when I go deep into each song, I'm just talking about my thoughts and my memories and my experiences and my takes on the song, not the backgrounds of the songs. So I could have researched like every single song, like the background, but I didn't really want to do that. I just wanted to do a little bit of background and a little bit of my thoughts. So that's what it's going to be. But yeah, if you guys would like me to do like a long like documentary type thing on different albums, I may be able to do that in the future. I'm thinking of doing some different kind of content, so maybe I will, I don't know, because when I was looking at like Fleetwood Mac YouTube content, there wasn't really any good stuff. There was like the odd like people talking about them and like different videos, but there wasn't really like a guide to Fleetwood Mac. Like they have like a guide to the Beatles, and I think that's really helpful because people feel a bit like confused when they first go into an artist and they want to listen to them but they don't know where to start. So maybe I'll make videos like that in the future, I don't know. So yes, Secondhand News is our first song. I think it's a really good like intro, like getting into the album. I think it achieves that very well, like kind of getting you into it, because I think the first song of an album is really, really important, especially in this era, because it was when people would listen to albums, like they'd listen to the hits like on the radio, I guess, but people would listen to albums. Like I feel like people went from just listening to the main songs to listen to the album to now just listening to the main songs, because nowadays I talk to my friends, I'm like, oh my gosh, I love this album. And they're like, I don't care about albums, I just care about random songs. I'm like, great, that's not what people create music for. People don't create music so it's TikTokable. People don't make music, well, they're starting to, which is another video title another video I would like to do is talk about like how people just make music for TikTok now, and people make songs really like one-hit wonder-ish, which is bad. It's not good for the music industry. But anyway, so this song, really good introduction into the album. My original thoughts on it was, it sounds like it's the morning and you're walking through the town. It has fab drum fills. I think throughout this whole record, like the drum fills are just insane. I really find them important in songs, like they really make a song incredible. So I really think that's good in this song. It sounds quite country inspired and unlike anything else I've heard as I'm new to this genre. I love that it's a duet. I don't think there's a single song I've listened to in ages, except from like Shallow, that is a duet. I only really listen to singers and bands where this band sing all together or the singer sings on their own with ad-libs. So yes, I think that, and since watching interviews, so since after writing this, and since after watching interviews, because I wrote this and then I watched a couple interviews and now I'm filming, I think that, like, they said that Stevie Nicks and Christine McVie, rest in peace, they were so important in this band, like the band wouldn't have been able to exist without them.
I think it comes down to the fact that Fleetwood Mac would not go on without Chris and me, right, if we were sick or something. Whereas in most bands with a girl in it could go ahead and would go on and play. But they'd have trouble without us.
Because they were so important, like with doing the vocals, they weren't just backup singers. And also because it really made them more successful having them as artists, I guess. I still don't know a lot about this band, but the odd bit I do know, that is my thoughts. So yes, this song is meant to set the mood for listeners that it's going to be an album created around feelings of heartbreak, hope, resignation and love. It's meant to transition into the next song of dreams, as well as it kind of putting you into a full sense of security, thinking everything is okay, then you hear the sadness in dreams and come back down to reality. So yeah, that's a bit of a mixture of what Genius said and what I think, and also what Genius thinks, so yeah. But yeah, I think it's a really good introduction and it fades quite nicely into Dreams, which is arguably the most important song on the album, especially as of like present day. Like, it's one of the most, if not the most recognisable Fleetwood Mac song of like the younger generation, especially with how it was popular on TikTok with like the cranberry juice man and all of the other trends that it's had. So yes, I think that song is very integral within their discography. So let's talk about Dreams. So Dreams is probably the only Fleetwood Mac song I knew, and like knew that was Fleetwood Mac before going into their discography and within the last year. If I would have heard this song a year ago, I would not have known it was Fleetwood Mac, and I wouldn't have known the song as well. The only reason I know who Fleetwood Mac are properly is because I studied GCSE music, even though we didn't talk about them that much, and also because I watched Glee, because there was an episode about Fleetwood Mac, and when I watched that about 2 years ago, I thought I've got to at some point look into this band and listen to their music. Because about 2 years ago, I got a Spotify account and I started thinking, oh, this artist, I've heard of them a lot, why don't I listen to their discography? So I'd sit there, I'd study, and I would listen to, I'd make this massive playlist with like loads and loads of albums, and I'd listen to like all of the albums all the way through so that I finally could hear these artists. But I didn't add Fleetwood Mac because I think I forgot about them, but it's fine because now I can listen to them. So yes, my music like knowledge has really expanded in just the last couple of years, because I think it's with my age as well. I'm more like, I don't know, and also with the digital age, I think it's becoming easier to be into more different types of music and for music to be more accessible. Like, you can literally walk down the street and listen to anything you want on your headphones. That is just insane to me, and I think that's really, really cool, but also a bit of a curse, because I don't know. Let's talk about that in another video. Anyway, so Dreams. It's very relaxing, it has that 70s vibe. It reminds me of the feeling of evenings on holiday when you can see the water lapping onto the beach and you're just finishing eating dinner with your family, and then when you're finished you stand alone and you stare into the distance. So I wrote that when I was feeling very like reflective, like thinking about stuff, because that song really does make me feel like that. Like those late nights when you're on holiday and like the sun's going down and you're staring into like the distance of the sea and everything's just calm, and you just wish that you could stay feeling calm and present like that for as long as you possibly can, but you know that your holiday's gonna end, that night's gonna end, and you're gonna come crashing back into reality. But yeah, it's just really peaceful and really fun, and I really like it. And it's also kind of like road trippy kind of vibes, like hippie road trip. Yeah. If you're a lot older than me and you're watching this video and you're like, what is she going on about? Please remember, I'm 17. Like, I am a child. These are just my random thoughts, so I'm sorry, because I do get people in the comments of these videos like, I think this album's really important, why are you not saying this, why are you not saying this? And they're just really like critical of me, and they want me to react to everything. And when I skip a song in my reactions, they're like, you need to listen to every song, you kids, you don't appreciate traditional music. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I've got exams, like. Anyway, this video's got so many tangents, I'm sorry. So apparently it took, what am I talking about? Apparently it took Stevie Nicks 10 minutes to write this song. This song is about a man's loneliness driving him mad over breaking up with his lover, which was a direct link to her breakup with her ex, Lindsey Buckingham. It took me the longest time to realise that Lindsey Buckingham is a man. Because Lindsey, in my eyes, is a woman's name. I've never known a man to be called Lindsey, so I was really confused. I was like, that doesn't make any sense, because in this era you wouldn't really have like many lesbians or bisexual people. So I was like really confused, but then I searched his name up and I was like, oh, he's a man. So yeah. Anyway, she uses earthy metaphors, which is very hippie like the era it was written in. The chorus uses pathetic fallacy to illustrate this. So, thunder only happens when it's raining. That's the only lyric I can think of at the top of my head. But I have got the song stuck in my head as I'm filming this, which I think is good. Buckingham then wrote his perspective on the breakup in Go Your Own Way. Originally, Christine McVie thought that this song was really boring. And I think that a lot of people think this song is a bit boring, but it takes like a while to get into like the vibe of it. But I think it's also one of those songs that you can find it really cool in the beginning and then you can over listen to it and then it's boring. So yeah, but overall I really love that song. I think it's really good and probably one of my favourites on the album. But I think my favourite on the album is probably, it's either Go Your Own Way or You Make Loving Fun, I think. Yeah, and Dreams, they're like my top three. And then, I don't really want to talk about it too much because I'm going to do a whole video on it, but Tango in the Night. Can we just appreciate this album? It is incredible. Like, it's so much more my vibe. Like, this album's really good, but Tango in the Night is my vibe to a T. Like, it is like really fun, really disco, really funky, really like upbeat, just great. Like, oh my gosh, I love that album. It gets a bit crazy after a while because I'm like, why is there so many songs? But overall it's really good. And also I think that I thought that because I've only listened to that album once all the way through and it was on a really long bus journey, so Never Going Back Again, I am not a big fan of their ballads. I think they're just a bit slow and boring for me. I just haven't really connected to them yet. I think when I connect to like the meanings of the songs I might like them more, but for now I think I prefer their upbeat songs like a lot more. They're a lot more like my style. I don't know, I just find them a bit like difficult to listen to. Don't mean to insult anyone if these are your favourite songs, I'm so sorry, but they're just not my kind of, they're not my cup of tea at the moment. So Never Going Back Again and Songbird, we're not fans. I'm not a fan of those songs at the moment.
I wish it from myself. The songbirds keep singing like they know the score.
It will probably change in the future, but for now, I'm sorry, but I do find them a bit boring and a bit of a skip. I said what I said. Anyway, so Never Going Back Again, it's like snow falling vibes, really nice and pretty. I think it's also the time of year. If it was like winter time and I wanted like slow music, I might like to listen to these songs, but for now I'm like, no. Then we've got Don't Stop. Don't Stop is quite good. Oh wait, no, it's really good. It's like one of the most iconic songs ever. But yeah, as I said in my other video, I read a book that was named after this song. So yeah, but I do find that I expected more from this song. I expected it to be like really good, and I didn't like it as much, but I think in the future I might like it more. I don't know. I'm not sure. Anyway, so I love the beginning with the strong chords. It's got a good beat and it's catchy. As I said, like, it's nice to know the song that a book that I read is named after. I love the meaning because it's hopeful and catchy. So that's all I have to say about that song. Don't really know. It's a really good song, but like, it's not one of my favourites on the album, because there's a lot of other like really good songs. Then we got Go Your Own Way. As I said, it's one of my favourites. It always gets stuck in my head. I love the layered vocals in the chorus. I love the rock and roll kind of sound to it, and the jingling instrument in the background, which I don't know what it is. Could someone please tell me, because I am confused. And it also has really good drum fills. And as I said, drum fills are really important, really fun, really great. Songbird. It's a nice sad little piano ballad. It's not my favourite, but it's not completely terrible. After a few less listens, I still don't really like it that much, but in the future I think I'll like it more. But for now, I'm not sure. I feel like people are going to attack me in the comments. That's why I'm apologising so much. But it's my opinion. I'm sorry. Anyway, The Chain. So no matter how many times I listen to this, I still feel like I'm in a Wild West film. And that really offended someone in my last video, but it's an opinion. You're not expected to have the same as me. My perspective is going to be a lot different. So, but yeah, it's so fun every time I listen to it. It must have been so much fun to watch live, and to this day it must still be fun to watch live, especially with tribute bands and whatnot. I love the way it builds, like with each section and then leading into the chorus. It's great fun. The bridge and the ending though is the best part, like especially with that guitar riff. I really love it. It's also so atmospheric, and it sounds like you're driving at night, like through a city, which I know is complete opposite to like the country western vibe, but I don't know. The next one is You Make Loving Fun. This is another one I really like. It's really funky, really fun to listen to. It's got a kind of like disco-ish sound to it, so kind of a bit Tango in the Night-ish, although I know that is an album that was written 10 years later, so it's quite like different in their discography. But it's also got like a kind of road trip sound to it. I love the build up to the chorus and the way it builds, and the magic sound effects. Oh my gosh, it's used the wrong effect, that's why I wrote affect, it's effect. The magic sound effect after she sings magic. I love the swan guitar counter melody and the electric guitar solo. It sounds so magical, and I like how the drum sounds light but also strong at the same time, and also the drum fills again are so cool. So that's my thoughts on You Make Loving Fun. Then I Don't Want to Know. In the beginning the guitar is so high it sounds like a ukulele. Not sure why, but there you go. It sounds very 70s and old. You can really hear their accents in the singing, and again it's nice to have a duet, because I think it makes them a unique band that they have that. I can imagine someone on stage with a tambourine. It's not the most interesting song though, and it can be a bit repetitive the first time you listen to it. It's a bit like the ABBA song, Ring Ring Ring, I think that's what it's called, like on their first album. That is an insane song. It's like really repetitive. It makes me feel like I'm going round and round about again and again and again, but it's still a good song. I really want to review all the ABBA albums as well, so please let me know in the comments if you'd like me to do that. So yeah, but on second, third listen, I'm still not really that keen on it. It's a bit boring and I can't really get into it. I don't know how I feel about it now. I can't really remember how it goes. But yeah. Oh, I didn't even finish writing about the other songs on this album. I don't know. Anyway, Oh Daddy is the last one I have like notes about, and then the Gold Dust Stardust Woman song I will just talk about because I really like that song. So Oh Daddy is again another ballad. I'm not as fond of their ballads as much. The upbeat songs, like I said, why do I keep repeating myself? it does pick up a bit and sounds mysterious, which is nice. And then the final song, which is, I can't even remember what it's called, to do with like gold dust and women and something, is a really, really good song. I think it's one of the best ones on the album actually, as well as the other ones I've said that are the best ones on the album. And I really enjoy it because it's like mysterious and it sounds interesting. It's got a different kind of sound to the rest of the album, which I think is nice. But other than that, I can't think of much else to say. If I have any more thoughts, I will talk in another Fleetwood Mac video, and I'd like to do another review of this album in about a year's time or something, so you can see how my thoughts on it have changed, and if I end up listening to the album a lot after making this video, or if I never listen to it again. Because some albums, like, I review them and then I never like listen to them again, or I over listen to them before I review them, like Elska by Nina Nesbitt, and then I can't listen to them anymore because I've just over listened to them. So I think there's a point at when you can review an album because you've heard it enough to have thoughts, but not heard it too much that you're sick of it, because that's what happened to that. And now I can't listen to that album anymore because it's just, I just can't. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave it a like. If you want to support the channel, you can subscribe. You can watch my monetized videos to support the video without paying, like with money, if you want to support me financially, and I can put the money towards my university, because I'm going to university next year, 2024, September 2024, which is insane. And if you want to actually pay me money for university, you can do that on my Buy Me a Coffee page, which I will link in the description box below. However, you won't get any benefits by doing that. You will just know that you've made my day, because I can't set up a Patreon and do more content than I already do, because I do not have the free time on my schedule to do that. So I'd prefer to put the time into making free videos for you guys to watch and investing some time into creating some nice ones that I can monetize, like this one. So yeah, if you've enjoyed, then please go and check out my other monetized videos. And if you haven't seen my first ever time reaction to Fleetwood Mac, you can do that. As I said, it will be linked down below. And I will definitely remember to do that, because I always say it's linked down below and it never is, but I promise it will be this time. And also comment down below what your favourite song is on this album, and also, as I said, let me know if there's any other albums you'd like me to review, Fleetwood Mac or not. And I'm going to be doing like Fleetwood Mac and Tango in the Night, like those two albums, and maybe like the ones in between Tango in the Night and Rumours, like I think there's one called Husk, there's one called Penguin. Penguin sounds really interesting, so I might do that. And yeah, I will see you all soon. Hope you enjoyed, and sorry if I offended you with any of my thoughts, but yeah, and also if you'd like tier listing, I'd love to do some tier listing of Fleetwood Mac, that'd be fun. But I don't know if it would fit with this like demographic of people who like this kind of music, so we shall see. But yeah, that has been this video, and I will see you guys all soon. Bye!